People want to talk about why I hate my football team so much. I don't hate this team. I started watching this team in 2008 when I was 9 years old. Under Jay Cutler, under Mike Shanahan, under Pat Bowlen, most importantly. And I saw the type of talent that was on this team. Even when the Broncos weren't good, they were still competitive when they played, right? In 2008, all they had to do was win one of their last three games to make the playoffs that year. And of course they blew it. That was something that the Broncos were notorious for, were just choking when the season came down to crunch time when I first started watching. But yeah, I was there for that. I was there for those Jay Cutler days, the Mike Shanahan days in 2008. Then when Mike Shanahan was fired, because Pat Bowlen again made a tough decision, but that had to be made, he fired Mike Shanahan and hired McDaniels. So then I watched Jay Cutler get traded to the Bears for Kyle Orton. I watched us start 6-0, hyped as fuck, and then watched the whole season collapse right afterwards. I was there for 2010 when we went 4-12, and then McDaniels was finally fired. I was there for when Elway really bursted on the scene in 2011 with John Fox, and Elway was doing Elway things. You know, Tim Tebow, in my opinion, should have been the starting quarterback. Obviously should have been the starting quarterback. And Elway wanted to keep Kyle Orton starting. Elway was like, nope, Kyle Orton gives us the best chance to win because, again, Elway has beef with these younger quarterbacks that show potential, that show an ability to win until the Broncos went 1-4, and he had no choice but to bring in Tim Tebow. Then Tim Tebow, with the help of a great defense, brought the Broncos to the playoffs and got the Broncos their first playoff win since, I think, like 2006 at the time. So I was there for that. I was there when the Broncos signed Peyton Manning in 2012. And I was there for that 3-year run where the Broncos were dominant on both sides of the ball. Right? 2015, man. I mean, that roster was crazy. Just defense alone. You had, on the inside, you had Derek Wolfe. You had Malik Jackson. On the edges, you had Von Miller. You had DeMarcus Ware. Inside linebackers, you had Brandon Marshall, Danny Trevathan. Your safeties were Darian Stewart, TJ Ward. Their corners, Bradley Roby, Aqib Talib, Chris Harris Jr. One of the best defenses of all time. All built by Pat Bowlen. And when Pat Bowlen died, when Pat Bowlen stopped running the show and Elway, the trust, took over, it all went downhill. We stopped having good offensive lines. You know, when we had Ryan Clady's, Orlando Franklin's under Pat Bowlen, we had Chris Cooper's. We had good offensive linemen. We had we had Elvis Dumerville. We have always had solid foundational pieces on both sides of the line, both sides of the line of scrimmage under Pat Bowlen. With Elway and the trust, it's all about edges. They just want good edge rushers. So, yeah, you'll have a pass rush coming off the edge, you know. But when there's nothing happening in the interior, all the quarterback has to do is step up in the pocket, and there you go. Draymond Jones, he fucking sucks. I mean, the reason why he looked better on paper is because his the other interior defensive lineman, DJ Jones, has been getting double-teamed all season long, which makes it a lot easier for Draymond Jones. You have Randy Gregory on the edge. Well, you had Randy Gregory on the edge for 2 games, and then he was out for the whole season. And then when he finally came back, you didn't even know he was on the field till he was throwing punches at the other team. Pat Bowlen had his ass cut that day. Pat Bowlen never stood for that shit. Pat Bowlen never stood for paying mediocre players large contracts. Pat Bowlen never stood for PR, publicity, fake views, fake comments. He never stood for any of that. He stood for putting a good product on the field. And when it didn't go well, He made sure he made the changes to make it go well. The Broncos, now, I mean, they're over here talking about trying to hire Sean Payton when their quarterback is Russell Wilson, wanting to get rid of their first-round draft pick to get Sean Payton. They should be using that first-round draft pick to draft a left or right tackle or a better center. Anyone on the offensive line. But they're going to trade for Sean Payton. They wanted to trade for Sean Payton. Owners are bribing coaches to come here to Denver because the job is not attractive to attract coaches here organically to get people who actually want to be here. That is not the Pat Bowlen way. Under Pat Bowlen, Peyton Manning wanted to come to Denver. Gary Kubiak wanted to come to Denver. Aqib Talib wanted to come to Denver. Wes Welker wanted to come to Denver. TJ Ward wanted to come to Denver. Darian Stewart wanted to come to Denver. You think the Broncos now can attract any players that are even half that caliber nowadays? Fuck no. Coaches don't want to be here. Assistant coaches don't want to be here. Ezra is probably gone next year. I think his bags have been packed. He's not only interviewing for head coaching jobs. I read that he was interviewing for other defensive coordinator jobs. He doesn't want to be here. And why would he? He declined the interim head coaching job because he saw it from a mile away how dysfunctional this front office is. How they have no interest in the team getting better. All the team cares about now is PR, hyping up shitty players like Justin Simmons, hyping up shitty players like Draymond Jones, hyping up shitty players like Cortland Sutton, hyping up shitty players like Jerry Jeudy, which for Jerry Jeudy, I'll give him, if he could do what he's been doing for the last 3 weeks of the season consistently next year, I'll be less hard on him. But like I said, I want to see consistency because it's been 2.5 years of nothing. Giving players like Tim Patrick big contracts. Pat Bowlen would have let these players walk a long time ago. But in Denver, all that matters is edge rushers, quarterbacks, corners, and that's it. The offensive line, non-existent to this front office. It doesn't exist. Apparently, because they haven't made any significant moves to upgrade it. Oh, wow, they traded for Jawan James. Ooh. Oh, wow, they signed Graham Glasgow. Ooh. They drafted Garrett Bowles, who fucking sucks. Ooh. No real moves on the offensive line. The defensive line, same shit. Mediocre ass fucking Draymond Jones out there. Mediocre Randy Gregory. Baron Browning on the edge, who's supposed to be an inside linebacker. Baron Browning could actually help the inside linebacking core right now for free. Those slow-ass middle linebackers, you have fucking Josie Jewell and Alex Singleton, both of which are good tacklers, but they cannot cover. They cannot cover receivers. They can't cover tight ends. They can't cover running backs because they're not fast enough. I would rather let them walk and get more speed, more athleticism in the middle of the field. Yeah, they could stop the run. They're great at the line of scrimmage, but in today's NFL, that's not all there is to middle linebacking. You have to be able to do it all. You have to basically be a safety out there. So, yeah, I don't hate my team. I want my team to be like it was under Pat Bowlen. Even when they were having down years in 2007, 2008, they were still competitive. They were still putting effort. They were still building. Pat Bowlen laid those foundational pieces down. Josh McDaniels, who everyone shits on, he drafted Von Miller. I know he didn't draft Von Miller. My bad. He drafted a lot of the players in 2009 that were foundational pieces because he was allowed to do his job. Pat Bowlen really fired Josh McDaniels for the whole videotaping scandal in 2010, but Yeah. I mean, people like to shit on McDaniels. McDaniels brought in a lot of good pieces, a lot of foundational pieces that helped the Broncos go on that Super Bowl run in 2015. So I want the team to be like it was under Pat Bullen, where you build the team. You got to win the battle in the trenches. That is where all games are decided. If you lose every time in the trenches, especially on offense, you're not going to have an offense. If you're losing in the trenches on defense, the team will be able to do whatever they want. They can run the ball on you. They can throw the ball on you. We saw that with the Rams and the Raiders. So until the Broncos actually get a grip, they start upgrading the team from the lines on both sides outward. It should be first priority, offensive line. Second priority, interior defensive line. Third priority, inside linebackers. Fourth priority, safeties. Fifth priority, better receivers. Sixth priority, corners. We at least have a little bit of corners now that could get us by. But, I mean, seriously, how hard is it to take it a position group at a time? Offensive line is obviously the biggest weakness, so put all your resources into upgrading that. Then the next offseason, put all your resources into upgrading that interior defensive line. Then get some speed in the middle linebacking core. You could probably do that in the same season that you upgrade the defensive line. But those middle linebackers, they got to go. They got to go. In fact, I'm actually going to put the middle linebackers as the second priority and the interior defensive lineman as the third. Because we could sneak by with fucking Draymond Jones and DJ Jones. But those middle linebackers, they got to go. But no, I don't hate my team. I want to see my team be competitive. I want to see my team go toe-to-toe with Kansas City. Not watch Kansas City fuck around and experiment. I want to see Kansas City be like, oh shit, we're playing the Broncos. We better dial in. We better take them seriously. Not this, we're going to, go through the motions. Shit. You know how embarrassing as a fan of a team it is to watch other teams just show up, go through the motions, and just leave with a win? Do everything they can to lose the game but still win the game? I mean, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of this shit. It's embarrassing. The fact that you fans will hype this shit up is crazy. Pat Bullen was about results, and the trust is about PR. It's about hype. It's about buying bots to comment on social media. It's about buying bots to watch their YouTube videos. It's about all the PR. It's all about hype. Pat Bullen was about results. That's the difference. Pat Bullen, if he saw how Justin Simmons was playing, giving up touchdowns, you think you would have gave that guy a fucking contract? No. You think you would have given average at best receivers like Cortland Sutton a contract? A big-ass contract? No. You think you would have given an average at best receiver like Tim Patrick a big contract? No. You think he would have signed a player who's as injury-prone and as problematic off the field as he is on the field a contract? Fuck no. But the trust will, and they'll pay the PR to hype all that shit up. Broncos are going to the Super Bowl next year. Broncos are going to beat the Chiefs. Broncos are going to be the class of the AFC. Until they weren't, I predicted that they would have a 5-12 record in May. It's on my Instagram. I'm on record. I predicted last season's record too. Before the season started, and I didn't delete my shit like the Mile High Huddle does. So I'm here to hold the media accountable. I'm done with this PR shit. I want to see my team be competitive again. Even if that means not winning the Super Bowl every year, I want to watch good football on Sundays. I'm sick of this shit.